Welcome back to the Daily Poem here on the Close Reads Podcast Network. I'm David Kern. Today's poem is by Phyllis McGinley, an American poet and an author of children's books who lived from 1905 to 1978. She won a Pulitzer Prize in 1961. You have heard her maybe 5 or 6 times over the course of the last 15 or 16 months here on the podcast, which seems about the right ratio. She is worth turning to every now and then. She is known for kind of a light verse and very humorous, satiric in her poetry, lots of satirizing of suburban life. And this poem, called November, which I'm reading on November 1st, is no different as far as those themes go. This is how it goes. Away with the vanity of man. Now comes to visit here the maiden aunt, the Puritan, the spinster of the year. She likes a world that's furnished plain, a sky that's clean and bare, and garments eminently sane for her consistent wear. Let others deck them as they please in frill and furbelow. She scorns alike the fripperies of flowers and of snow. Her very speech is shrewd and slight, with innuendos done, and all of her is hard, thin light, or shadow sharp as sun. Indifferent to the drifting leaf, and innocent of guile, she scarcely knows there dwells a brief enchantment in her smile. So love her with a sparing love. That is her private fashion, who fears the august ardor of a demonstrated passion. Yet love her somewhat. It is meet. And for our own defense, after October, to find sweet her chilly common sense. This is a delightful poem. I really like this one. This is a really simple richness, a rich simplicity, whatever way you want to put it, in the way she personifies the month of November. But not just that she gives it personality, but that personality is rooted in real images, real experiences about the month of November. Phyllis McGinley is not just someone who sees the world in a humorous way, but she sees it in a realistic way. She sees nature so clearly. There's a precision to her images, to her descriptions, to the way she sees the world. And without that, the personification, the humorous personification of the month of November as a sort of Puritan, maiden aunt, spinster type character would not be as profound or as powerful. There's a real skill in what she's doing here. I'm especially fond of the fourth stanza. Her very speech is shrewd and slight, with innuendos done, and all of her is hard, thin light, or shadow sharp as sun. The shadows of November are harsh in a way that no other month has. You know, she talks in here about the idea that it can be cold without snow. There's both no snow and no flowers. You know, it's we're not into the month of Christmas where there's a sort of enchantment, a sort of mystery to it. But there is a little bit of enchantment, as McGinley says. You know, it's sort of a quiet month, but there's this little look on her face. There's a little look on the face of November that begins to suggest that there's something, you know, at the heart of it that's sort of enchanting. So this is a fun, delightful poem, but it's also so well crafted that it's worth reading and coming back to every now and then. Like so much of Phyllis McGinley's poetry, I really think that although, you know, maybe she's not as much the voice of her generation, like say a Robert Frost, or she's not as thematically complicated as a Richard Wilbur, or she's not trying things in the way that, you know, many other people were. She's certainly highly skilled, and there is a consistency to her best poetry that is, I don't want to say unparalleled, but pretty high up there with American poets. And you know, I don't think we should look down at her for being the satiric voice of suburban life in the 20th century. Once more, here is November by Phyllis McGinley. Away with vanity of man. Now comes to visit here the maiden aunt, the Puritan, the spinster of the year. She likes a world that's furnished plain, a sky that's clean and bare, and garments eminently sane for her consistent wear. Let others deck them as they please in frill and furbelow. She scorns alike the fripperies of flowers and of snow. Her very speech is shrewd and slight, with innuendos done, and all of her is hard, thin light, or shadow sharp as sun. Indifferent to the drifting leaf and innocent of guile, she scarcely knows there dwells a brief enchantment in her smile. So love her with a sparing love. That is her private fashion, who fears the august ardor of a demonstrated passion. Yet love her somewhat, it is meet, and for our own defense, after October to find sweet her chilly common sense. This has been the Daily Poem. Thanks so much for listening. I will be back on Monday with another poem.